Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hello and welcome back to this Black Tapes reactions, thoughts, and interjections. This is part 3 of episode 1, A Tale of Two Tapes, part 1 of 2, which means episode 2 is going to be the conclusion to this story, I believe. Or at least that's what I'm deducing from the title names. Not real sure, like I said in previous videos on the Black Tapes. I haven't listened to this yet, so let's get on to this.
I don't think an underground pipe would explain what happened next.
Oh my god. Was that the door?
The door, not the door. Kind of sounds like a crash gate in penitentiary.
Okay. You want to tell them what happened, Nick?
Okay, so the batteries died on the Zoom recorder, so I went back to get my phone so I could use that to record instead. I tripped over the case for some ghost hunting equipment and I fell over.
It scared us all a little bit.
I don't know what they're doing, but those flashlights, they came off and on, and that door opening on its own was pretty convincing.
Not really. Or at least not for me. There's too many... I've seen too many things where they've set up, where people have gone behind the scenes to set up stuff like that, so... But within this universe, the Black Tapes universe, which I don't know if it bleeds into like the Rabbits universe or not. Well, yeah, it does, because you get Nick Silver. So yeah, it is what it is.
Just like that, I was officially ghost hunting. Both Dumont and Donnie said that they saw the apparition of an old man walking around the room. Could there be someone or something haunting that credit union?
Or multiple someones and some things. I'll grab my drink real quick. There's no telling.
There's still one more twist in the story. I'm Alex Regan. This is the Black Tapes podcast. Stay with us.
Yeah. So, what between this, Rabbits, Tanis, which I may do when I get closer to the end of Rabbits, I may start doing Tanis. But could you imagine if in this universe, this Minnow Beats Well Public Radio Alliance universe, if it were real and people like Nick Silver had all this real crazy stuff going on, it still had to manage the podcast studio? Yeah, that would be just way crazy.
Hi. Hi.
How are you?
Great.
Good, good. Do you mind if we record this?
What's it for?
Oh, sorry. I'm Alex Regan. I was a producer on Pacific Northwest Stories for a few years. I still do a bit of work there, but I'm focused on a new project now. It's a podcast about interesting people with interesting jobs.
I love Pacific Northwest Stories. My friend was interviewed for that one that they ended up making into that karate movie.
Cool. I left a few messages for Jenna. Is she...
Yeah, this is kind of this. I like that you have all this build up with the sanitarium turned SNL building. Then we drop off into this interview. It's kind of doing that quick 180 snap turn.
You here?
Have a seat. I'll check.
Thank you.
Jenna Yates is Richard Strand's publisher. I sat down with her to talk about Strand.
How can I help?
A half-hour sit-down interview with Richard Strand.
For the radio.
It's a new podcast.
You're a producer on Pacific Northwest Stories?
Yes. Well, I was. I still help them out every once in a while.
We listen, my husband and I, every week.
Ah.
That's kind of cool. Rolling things back into the story from reality. That's kind of cool.
So is Dr. Strand available?
I'm afraid he's not doing interviews currently.
Is there any way you could call him and plead my case?
No promises, but I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
Which, depending on the tone and the particular inflections, when somebody says, I see what I can do, that's either a, yeah, go pound sand, or I'll actually try and help you. I found that when someone makes that statement, there's usually no in-between ground. It's we're going to get this done, or you just need to go pound sand.
Hello, I'm returning one of 11 calls from somebody named Alex Regan. It's Richard Strand. Okay, goodbye.
And so, after dozens of calls, emails, and countless messages, I was finally in a room with Dr. Richard Strand.
Which could be, I don't know. If I did that much, if I went through that much to get an interview with somebody, then the interview happened, I don't know how I'd feel, if I would be a hostile interviewer, or if I would be a neutral, or I'd be an accommodating interviewer. I don't know. Kind of puts me in that music, that nah, 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 kind of puts me in the mood of, in the I Am a Walrus by the Beatles, that doo, doo, doo. Yeah, cuckoo cuckoo. I think it's I Am the Walrus. I know it's on that, on the Peppers album. It may be Strawberry Fields that it's reminding me of. I'd have to go back and listen to both songs. Now that I think about it, I actually think it's more Strawberry Fields than I Am the Walrus.
Is this okay?
Yeah, anywhere works.
What kind of article is this?
It's for the radio.
People still listen to the radio?
They listen to the internet. Not necessarily radio, but the internet.
It's digital. On demand. Yeah, people do still listen, actually.
Okay. What do you want to know?
Dr. Richard Strand is a tall man, good-looking, confident, with a perpetual wry smile and cool blue eyes that betray a sharp intelligence.
That's kind of cool. Though I know some women, my wife being one of them, that people with striking features and blue eyes just unnerves them, gives them the willies.
He's a man who doesn't like to waste time or words, and he just looks like he knows something that the rest of us can't quite understand. He has
I've met people like that.
degrees in religion and mythology and psychology from Yale. He formally opened the Strand Institute in 1998.
Well, you have degrees in religion and psychology. Did you study the paranormal,
I don't know. Psychology and religion kind of go hand in hand if you think about it.
psychology?
They don't offer degrees in those subjects.
Why not?
As soon as you apply scientific method to the paranormal, it vanishes.
Can you tell me about the Strand Institute?
The talking point everyone seems most interested in is the reward.
Oh, the $1 million for any evidence of the supernatural or paranormal?
That's correct.
Yeah, the thing is they talk about applying the scientific principle or methodology to the paranormal, and the paranormal evaporates. Which it is. It's one of those. It's just one of those things. However, there may come a point in our knowledge of science that the paranoia not paranoia, the paranormal, paranoia, paranormal. I don't know. That could go hand in hand, depending on how religious or non-religious you are. My nose keeps itching.
Has anybody tried to claim that money?
Thousands of them.
And
Nobody's even come close.
really?
There hasn't been one actual case of anything magical, supernatural, or paranormal ever happening on this planet.
Okay, so you're saying unequivocally that there's no such thing as ghosts.
Isn't there enough wonder and beauty in the world without having to invent magical, mythical creatures and spirits to enhance it?
Does have a very good and valid point right there.
I understand humanity's need to assuage our fear of mortality, but if we spent half the money we spent on religion on science, we'd have a colony on Mars and we probably would have cured death and aging by now.
Also, very good points.
What are these?
Dr. Strand has a bookcase filled with hundreds of white VHS cases. For our younger listeners, these are hard plastic cases big enough to
I love that. That's great. You know, I have to go back and explain VHS. That's great. I love it. That's just one of those humorous things that's just kind of right there, just kind of hits you in that funny bone.
hold a VHS tape, roughly 8 inches by 5 inches. Each one
That's what she said.
of Strand's tape cases is labeled with a name. Interesting names like The Poltergeist Dinner, The Haunting of Mr. and Mr. Smith, and The Witch of Walmart 5.
What's in the VHS boxes?
Those are solved cases.
That's quite a bit. Since 1998?
This is just the last 2 years.
Wow,
Wow. Last 2 years, it's still using VHS.
that's a lot.
That's pretty standard for us.
And by solved, you mean debunked?
That's correct.
Though I wonder, I'd have to look them up. I'm not real sure, but I wonder if you can use solved in this circumstance, if you can use solved and debunked interchangeably.
May I?
Go ahead.
Inside the VHS case was a USB stick, a DVD, a bunch of index cards,
Oh, okay. They're putting it on digital format, just storing it in the VHS cases. So yeah, okay. Whew. Makes me feel better.
and some photographs. The VHS case worked perfectly as compact storage for everything inside. This particular case appeared to involve some kind of UFO or ghost sighting.
So, you use all of this technology, the scopes, meters, and recorders, the way the ghost hunters do?
Sometimes it's a matter of someone simply telling a story, making it up. In those cases, equipment isn't much help. In other situations, we do use technology, but not quite the way those people you refer to as ghost hunters use it.
I like that though. His vitriol toward the ghost hunters is oozing in his words, but his demeanor just kind of makes the poison go a little bit in easier.
And what's this stuff?
These are spectrometers. Over here we have electromagnetics.
What are these?
Nothing.
At this point, Dr. Strand shut down our interview. Nicely. He was polite and generously offered a follow-up call if I had any additional questions. I did have additional questions. Questions based on something I saw in Dr. Strand's equipment room. More on that after the break.
It's pretty good music. Kind of like the way it kind of leaves kind of a I think I pissed him off, but he was nice about me about getting pissed off.
I called Dr. Strand a few days later for the follow-up he promised.
Thanks so much for taking the time.
You're welcome.
I want to play something on my computer,
Over the phone?
if that's okay.
Sure.
Fine.
Have you ever come across a case where you couldn't find a scientific or rational explanation? No. What about the Sagamore?
What happened in that auditorium?
That's interesting. Very interesting at that.
There was a low rumbling sound, and then the lights went out.
Right after somebody mentioned something called the Sagamore.
That's right.
You claimed that it was a coincidence.
It was.
What's the Sagamore?
It's a hotel, a resort in New York State.
And did something happen there?
There have been numerous claims of hauntings, including lights flickering and deep rumbling sounds.
See, the whole lights flickering thing, I don't understand, because even in 2024, living in modern everything, my lights, just because the way electricity is and power grids are, it flickers. And it's real bad during like electrical storms. During the summer here, we get electrical storms that don't produce any rain, just lots of thunder and lightning, and that will cause your lights to flicker, get a little bit of a brownout sometimes. But yeah, it's I don't understand about people being amazed by that.
Were you able to debunk them?
Yes.
Well, I think we've got everything, but I do have to ask one small favor.
Go ahead.
My assistant's equipment was stolen, and we lost your photo, the one we took for our website. It will only take a few minutes. I'll be in and out. You'll barely notice I'm there.
Fine.
I wasn't being completely honest with Strand. We did need another photo for the website, but my producers told me we were fine using his standard publicity picture. What I really wanted to do was get another look at something I saw in his equipment room.
And I think we'll go ahead and call this good here for today. Hope you're all enjoying summer. As of filming, this is July 4th. And for those that are Americans, happy 4th of July. Now, whether or not I get this up on 4th of July, I don't know. Depends on what else is going on. So, until next time, be a good human. Be good to other humans. Peace.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?